Mr. Mpofu has told me that he's now ready to show the video material that he wanted to show us. Mr. Mpofu? And the witness is still under oath.
Witness still under oath.
Thank you, Chairperson. Well, I see that the SABC team is not here. I was going to say if there's no objection, I was going to lead him through something, but so I'll do it when they're here so that I don't ambush.
You know about the absence of the SABC team? Do we send a posse of policemen to arrest them?
Yes, Chairperson. with barbed wire.
There don't appear to be any police in the chamber, so we can't do that.
Okay.
Civilians. We can have a civilian.
I'll effect a citizen's arrest myself.
Time for facetiousness is long since past.
There you are.
Here's Mr. Semenya.
Yes.
The late Mr. Semenya has arrived.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Pretorius. Yes. No. Okay.
Mr. Semenya, I'm sorry we thought you were here, which is why we returned. I'm sorry. There's been a bit of good-natured banter about your absence, but you could read it on the transcript if you have got nothing better to do. Yes, Mr. Mpofu, you can now proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. I was going to say, if I was waiting for my learned colleagues, if there's no objection, I will just lead him through the next section because it's the non-contentious period about the arrest, Chairperson.
Chair, my father would say he might not be on time, but he's never late.
Yes. Right.
Well said, Mr. Semenya.
Thank you. Mr. Mchamba, it's now common cause that you and your fellow arrestees were then had to go through from the week starting on the 20th onwards. We did bail applications for you. You remember that?
I remember that.
You were taken to the Harankua Magistrates Court in big vans, in many groups many vans with groups of people in them, correct?
That is correct.
And you spent most of the time in the vans. You are not allowed to get into the courtrooms.
That is correct.
Until a few days later.
That is correct.
And that the representations were made to the President and the Minister of Justice and the NDPP, after which you were released on bail. Actually, I'm sorry, you were released on warning.
That is correct.
And you had in the court it was said that you had been charged for the 34 murders of your fellow strikers.
That is correct.
And when you were released on warning, some of those charges, especially the murder charges, were provisionally withdrawn.
That is so.
And since then, you've been to court for the remaining charges several times.
That is so.
Thanks. And when is your next court appearance?
On the 20th, on Wednesday.
Yes. Your next appearance is this Wednesday. In 2 days' time.
Yes. On the 20th, Wednesday this week.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Mr. Semenya. Can all right, now about that episode, can you then just tell the commission how you felt about being arrested and being charged in the manner that we have just discussed now?
Yonke lento ngayo yonke lento waziva njani ukubanjwa ukuchargewa kwakho nakuphatha njani lona?
Isiphethe kabuhlungu kakhulu kum imphethe kakubi kakhulu.
It is bad. I feel bad about it, especially me.
Ufumana uba bendisukele lifi ndicela uba ndizobuyela emsebenzini ndiyophangela.
Found that I was from leave, telling myself I'm going back to work.
Ndifikele isimo singelihlobo esingakhona.
And I had to face with this situation that I found.
Ndicinga ukuthi ilonmin befuneke iye yazama ngako konke ukuthi mayize basebenzi nizothethisana nabo.
I think lawmen should have tried to come and talk to the workers.
Ngoba abasebenzi bathethile kaninzi pha entabeni ukuthi abazimiselanga uqabana namapolisa okanye ukuthi ba mangathini bazimisele nje bamadibana nomqashi bazomcacisela ngengxaki abanazo.
Because the workers on the copy on numerous occasions indicated that they do not want to be at loggerheads or fight with the police. They only want to talk to the employer, explain what their problems are to the employer.
Ngoba ingxaki yokuqala nxa unofumana kwangoku thina abantu abasebenza emgodini kusenocalucalulo olukhulu phakathi kwabantu abamhlophe nabantu abamnyama.
Because taking it from me, people who work in the mines, there is still segregation in the mines between white and black people.
Uba ungalandelela kwangoku jonga ndi RDO.
If you look at the issue of the RDOs right now, there is not a single white person who's an RDO.
Nangoku entabeni zange kube nomuntu omnye bese qhankqalazweni nomuntu omhlophe ngoba akekho umuntu ongi-RDO omhlophe.
Even on the copy, there was not a single white person who was demonstrating there because there is not a single person who's an RDO who's white.
Bonke abantu bamhlophe banikwa izitulo eziphezulu ezifana nobo chief boss no mine captain uya phezulu.
All the white people are given high positions like chief boss, man captain.
Baninzi abasifikele sisebenza pha baqashwe after thina kodwa basiqhithe endleleni bafumana ama position.
There are many such white people who found us working there and they got higher position than us now.
Into befuneka kakhulu ilonmini ichekishile lonto izama uphakamisa abantu abamnyama nabo bakwazi ulingana nabelungu.
Lawmen was supposed to look at that, try and improve the positions of the black people so that they can be in power with their white colleagues.
Sesinye sezikhalazo besifuna sisibekile ngelo langa pha entabeni besingalweli nje le mali 12.5.
That is one of the grievances we're going to put forward to management on the copy. It was not only the issue of the 12,500 rand.
Kwayona i12.5 lebesifuna besingathi ba umqashi makazisi 12.5 wangelo langa.
Even the 12,500 that we wanted, we did not expect the employer to bring it on that day.
Besizimisela uba kuzokuthethiswana besizawuvana noba ngeyiphi imali ubungaphi azasinika yona.
We expected talks to be conducted concerning that amount and would accept a different amount than the 12,500.
Uba nasemva kwezi strike siyesa phindele umsebenzi singayifumananga 12.5.
Because even after the strike we went back to work without the 12,500 rand.
Kodwa siyesavuma uba masibuyele emsebenzini.
But we agreed to go back to work.
Uba ilonmini beyathatha isigqibo esifana nesisiyenziwe nguTatu da Costa yazothethisana nabasebenzi.
If lawmen had taken the step or decision that Mr. Da Costa did, come and talk to the workers instead of calling the police. But lawmen decided to call the police to come and shoot the people.
Kufana nabantu abaswelekeleyo aba baswelekele ngotata bam befana ilonmini ithatha amanyathelo ukuthi inikeza abamama into something kuba basebehlele iminyaka emibini belapha kule commission akho nto bayizuzayo.
It's like the people who lost their loved ones there, those widows. Loanmen were supposed to give those women something. They spent 2 years here in the commission and they're not getting anything.
Thank you. Now, you've one of the things that you've mentioned is that you've emphasized on the fact that you say loanmen should have spoken to the workers. In your 20 years experience in the industry, have you been involved in other strikes?
Enye ke into iphawuleyo yokuba uloanmen befanele uzwe wazothetha nabasebenzi. Kule minyaka e20 usebenza ke pha ezimine uke wabakhona ubandakanya kwezinye strike?
What that?
Yes, I have.
And what would usually happen in those strikes?
Into ke beqhela ukwenzeka kwezo strike ezinye.
Kuzo zonke ikhampani nxa uqashwayo uyacacisela ukuthi nxa kunento enikhalaza ngayo funeke nihambe niemsebenzini nikhethe abantu abathile abazawusa isikhalazo kubaphathi benu.
In all the companies, when one takes up employment, it is explained to you that if you have a grievance, you have to elect certain people who will represent you and put those grievances forward to the employer.
Kodwa kwelanga lokuthi kwenzeka lenhlekela.
But on the day of this tragedy,
iloanmen ngeyithathe okanye kuba imiboyika ukuthi mayize kuthi njengoba bisithi iboyika ukuthi kuzawuqatyanwa abantu bazawubulala management.
if loanmen people were scared to come to us, as they alleged that they were scared, people would be killed, management would be killed, or people, they would be at loggerheads with the workers.
Ngebethathe abatata bebephambili abebezi leaders bathatha bahamba nabo baya endaweni esafe ababona ukuthi bazawuba safe amapolisa khona bothetha nabo ba negotiate nabo.
They would have taken the leaders, take them to a safer place. The police would have been there, go and talk to them at a safer place.
Into ebizabe ibhetere kuba bathethisane bavana ngoba nesigqibo ezizawuthathwa ngaphandle kuba bazise amapolisa.
It would have been better if they went and spoke, listened to each other instead of calling the police.
Okay. Now, then specifically about the fact that you are the only person that we are calling of those people who were arrested. And so we would like to know how you felt specifically about the issue of being arrested, all the things that we discussed, being arrested, staying there for, I think it was about 18 days, and the fact that you continue to be, to face the charges that you face.
Njengoba ke ingwe wedwa umuntu esambiza kwabantu bayebabanjwa sifuna ukuva ke izimvo zakho uziva njani ngalo yonke lonto yokubanjwa nento ezenzekileyo mgcine nichithe ke 18 days nebanjiwe nangawo lamatyalo uzawujongana nawo.
Thina njengomuntu nami omnye wabantu bebanjiwe,
as one of the arrested people,
ndibona usihlukumezwe kakhulu.
I feel that we're humiliated a lot.
From
the beginning, from when we were arrested at this place where we were arrested, we were assaulted. Other people were picked up whilst injured without receiving any treatment. They were locked up in prison whilst they were full of blood, swellings on their bodies. Thereafter were taken, told that we are being charged for murder, killing the people who were with us there. We had been on the copy for a long time without killing each other. Why would we kill our colleagues?
abantu bebefuneka kuthiwa bona bavalelwe bahleli kamandi ba-enjoy impilo yabo kamandi thina siyathatha sutshajwa ngokuthi sibulele abasebenzi abasingababulelanga.
The people who were supposed to have been arrested and charged were having a normal life, having good time, and we are being arrested for killing our colleagues. We did not kill them.
Uba namhlanje kuyabonakala uba bekungazanga kwa eza lawyer wethu haya osithethelela siphume etrongweni.
It is clear that clear even today that if our lawyers did not come and negotiate on our behalf, get us out of prison, we would be sitting there in prison right now as our case is still on. But the police are still walking freely, enjoying their lives. I feel that we were mistreated. We don't even know what the outcome of the court case would be. We are still being mistreated. It is a very bad thing or sad thing that people are being shot whilst raising their hands, surrendering, just as I was. I did not have any weapons.
Okay.
That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to show a series of pictures. Chairperson, in relation to your evidence that some of the people were still injured from the copy. Chairperson, if I may just explain this. There's a number of pictures of the injured people, but when we get to those who have visible injuries, then I will stop at some.
As you know, I normally give a warning, but
No,
it'll say, no, I normally give a warning when the pictures of a particular kind that will cause distress and emotional pain to people.
No,
if we reach any of those pictures, you'll know what's coming. You can, in fact, give the warning on my behalf so that people can leave the chamber if they wish before the pictures are shown.
Thank you, Chairperson.
It's
yes.
something we've done from early on in this commission for good reason, as you know.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. Well, Chairperson, I had intended actually to show many pictures just so that to give a face to some of the people who were injured, but I'm told that they've already pre-selected the ones who were arrested and injured, so we'll just run only those. Thank you, Chairperson. Can we do 5942 5957? Subsat drives photos. It's designated as photos of the arrested. If you can show 5942, 5957, 6086, 6102, 6109, and 6115. I'll just tell you when to go to the next one. Can you give it an exhibit number, Chairperson? Can you give this series an exhibit number, Chairperson?
Everybody's saying video, so we'll call them all quadruple M1.
And then it will point 1, point 2.
A series of photographs of injured.
It's just a few photos.
Are we all taken on? When do they take them?
Your mic is not on, Chairperson.
Oh, it was feared that something important might be missed. What I suggest we do is we call this series of photographs quadruple M1. And I've written down series of photographs of injured, arrested persons. Were the pictures taken on the 16th or taken on or shortly after?
Shortly after.
Taken shortly after 16/8/2012. And then, how many pictures are there?
6.
So it's point one. It's quadruple M 1.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and 0.6.
Yes. Okay. Can you go to the Chairperson? If I may just give a description. There you see a person. The name of the person is written on the board in front of them. This one is concerning two. It's got the case number Marikana Cares 134/082012, which is the case of the 270 people, and then it's the inscription says illegal gathering. And these are the pictures that they took at the police station.
Siyambona la mntu ukho ibhodi phaa phambi kwakhe yatsho case number yasemarikana netyala negama lakhe ngumqondiseni ngethu.
And this picture, the reason we selected this picture, Chairperson, was merely for the fact that the person still has blood on their face.
There's an indication of a slight wound on the top of his forehead, just about his hairline, and there's
unwiped
like blood coming down over his forehead and actually on both sides of his nose.
Thank you, Chairperson. Next one. 5957.
Sure.
This one looks severely injured.
Facial injuries, blood on his cheeks, bottom part of his nose, below his nose, and of course there's blood on his shirt. It looks like. And he appears to have a swollen cheeks, swollen nose, swollen eyes.
Thank you. Next one. This one is Lebogang Mokone, same case number, and it's written Gathering Act 205/93. With blood on his clothing and some visible swelling on the face.
And bruises, we think, on his face.
Yes. And bloodshot eyes. Okay, thank you. Next one. This one is Ayabonga Mtimkulu. Same case number, written again, Gathering Act 205/93, and bruising and some blood on the right hand cheek and in front of the nose.
Looks like the left hand cheek actually.
Left, yeah, that's correct.
And then the lower portion of his nose, I think, around the nostrils as well.
Next one. This one on the left hand cheek, swelling on the left hand cheek. Mr. Pumelele Mulese. Next one.
Appears to have injuries on his face as well, I think.
Yes. This one, injuries on the eyes and tearing eye, the right hand eye, and some swelling on the face.
Swelling on both sides of the face, actually.
That's correct.
And the left forehead, it looks like as well.
Yes.
The label isn't, the placard or whatever it is with his holding isn't very clear, but perhaps you could put his name on record as well.
Yes. Can you get the name?
Yes, on the right side of the face near the ear, there's also a mark. Indicates, it looks like an open injury. But can you read his name out, please, Mr. Mpo? Not too clear on the photograph.
Nicholas Lulu. And it's also written Gathering Act. Thank you, Chairperson. Next one. Was that the last one? Yes. Thank you.
That, I think, is quadruple M 1.6. The photograph.
That's correct, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. Now, when you were saying some people were still injured, you might not recognize those specific persons. Were those the kinds of scenes that you saw?
awuthi ke abanye abantu bathathwe benzakele mhlawumbe abakhumbula abantu sigqiba ubona umfanekiso yabo kodwa ke zingozi ke ezifana nezi ubuthetha ngaso.
Utata.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. Now, before I ask you, I'm just going to ask you a few more questions, but I think the last paragraph of your statement refers to a carte blanche TV program which you did in relation to the events at Scene 2. Is that correct?
Ithetha ke ngeprogram owayenza pha TV kuthiwa i-carte blanche TV program. Kunjalo?
Kunjalo, Dad.
That is correct.
And your statement says that you have been advised that it will be shown and you have agreed to that.
I don't think it's an exhibit yet, is it, Mr. Mpuku?
No, it's a new one.
So it will be quadruple M2, carte blanche, 2 words, carte blanche program featuring the witness, featuring interview with the witness.
Have you got the... The first one is 10.
Popo, are you going to show the whole interview with the witness?
Chairperson is not long, but...
If not, well, you could either show the whole thing, in which case there isn't a further problem. If you're only going to show portions, I'd be grateful if you'd indicate which portions are being shown. But I'm in your hands again.
Too long. No, certainly not. Chairperson will play the whole thing.
Interview
we start at 10:20. The first part is just introductory. 10:20, Craig.
Kusuka pha ixesha ngo-10:20.
Just go to 10:00. Yeah, okay.
I take it what we're seeing, we haven't got the sound yet, what we saw initially at 10:00 was a part of Scene 2, so-called copy 3.
Yes, Chairperson. It started at Scene 2. Thank you, Chairperson.
Phela upha izindawo ezigana sesibini kanye Scene 2.
The sound was being played too fast.
Okay.
All media had reported that Marikana was a tragic case of police defending themselves. Within days, investigation insiders were confidentially telling me that we had it right. 14 men had indeed been killed at Small Kopi, and all with assault rifle ammunition. The state replied in a clear voice. The NPA charged the arrested miners with the murder of their own colleagues. A public outcry followed, and the miners were released released late on September the 4th. The release of the miners meant we could find if there were any surviving witnesses to what happened at the small kopje. One such man was Zeeks. What did you feel when you were hiding in that corner?
I was so afraid when I was standing here. I was nearly like this. I was so afraid. It was the first time I was hearing a lot of sound of bullets like that. Because I could hear the splits. Other splits were, I didn't have a cap in my head. Other splits were on my head like. And I wanted to go to this direction. Whenever I want to go back, they will flash that the water must come back again. But the time that I really had to say now, I'm dying now. Because as the 3 cops appeared on this side, facing us, there was no other side now to run to because it's blocked over here, and then there's no other side. I told myself that now I'm going to die now. There's no other way. I just inserted my head down, bent my head like I would hear a bullet whenever it hits where it will be hitting me. I was very afraid.
One of the main things that all of the witnesses have said is that when they ran to this court, their main...
I can report, I think we should record that the clip that has been shown started at 9:50.
Yes. Until 11.
Now stopped it at 11:31.
11:31. Thank you, Chairperson. Okay, can you just fast forward the commentary? Yes, okay, you can start.
11:43.
Guy came over towards this direction. He was standing here. Is the guy that said, hey guys, let's surrender. He was facing towards this direction. There were 3 cops coming like from the bushes from this side. From the bushes from this side. Is the guy that guy raised up this hand like this and said, please let's surrender. The guys, let's surrender. As he waved his hand up, he was shot in the hand here. And then he came down. As he wanted to kneel down, he said, let's surrender. It was clean as us. We were still sitting here. Most of us, many of us were sitting here. And it was everybody on top of everybody here. For the second time, he said, let's surrender, and waved up his hand. There were already, so these cops were standing there. Then he was shot in the stomach here for the second time. It's whereby he tried to fall down, but he managed to stand up again for the third time. Third time now, it's whereby they hit him, so he felt like this here. He felt like this here. He was trying to move down. The other one was following him. The other one was shot just behind him. I don't know, it was in the front. He felt in the front like that or but he felt on his face. He might have felt towards the rock side.
How was he shot?
He was shot in the head, right in the head. He was doing as the other guy was. He was trying to surrender, taking his hand up. He was shot right in the head.
It's here at Small Kopje that we know really what happened, out of sight of the cameras. It was here that the rock drill operators and their fellow strikers saw police shoot men trying to surrender, were brutalized and were told that they were being killed because they were cop killers.
The other police was holding a killing taken from the other guys. They were asking, are you cop killers? You cop killers, you think you are going to survive by doing this. The other one was on his side saying, you are useless people. Yeah, I still remember that one said, we are useless. If it was in Zimbabwe, he said, if it was in Zimbabwe, we could just set petrol on top of you and set fire on top of you while you are still lying down there. Because you are cop killers, you are killing government people, innocent people. Cops are killed by you. Yeah, it was on this side. The one who kicked the Mandala one was lying down. Others were still on top of the rocks looking towards us. They make a roll like this. We were lying down there. Others were saying, hey, I wanted to take him on this other side with my 9mm. Other one said it. And you already take him with that R4. It was as if they were competing like I wanted to take him from this angle, and then I've seen you've already taken him down. Or as if they were bragging like it, because I had him in my angle.
On the 5th of September, 3 weeks after the shooting, persons unknown defaced most of these crime scene letters.
Okay.
This was after we had published the story of the person in.
We're now stopping at 15:22. We should probably have stopped a few seconds before that.
15. Yes, Chairperson. Yes, I'm just avoiding the account of the narrator, Chairperson. Thank you. Mr. Mchamba, that was you giving the account on the video, correct?
Yes, sir.
When more or less was that, if you can remember?
Emva kokuba ngoku siphume etrongweni ingwayi amalanga emva kokuba siphume etrongweni.
I think it's days after we had been released from prison.
Yes.
Also, Krishna,
Yes,
the interview you gave to the television crew, was the whole interview shown in the clip that we've just seen, or were there bits that were left out?
La interview ke sigqiba ibona iphelele apha interview wayenza nabantu benda.
Ayiphelela.
Iphelela kulento sibonileyo.
Kule DVD. Apha kule disc.
The whole interview isn't this disc, Mr. Chair.
Now, let me just take, I just want to ask you this. We've already spoken, you've already said a lot about your feelings about the murder charges and so on. The other issue that was raised there was about public violence. When you were there on those 2 days, did you experience, was there any public violence?
So thethileke ngoba uziva njani ngayo kubanjwa kwenu kodwa kuthathwa nange public violence pha la nansika udushe lapha esihlangalaleni bekhona lonto njalo pha ngela xesha ba
Mina ngokwazi kwami nxa kuthethwa ngedushe kuthethwa ngokuqabaqabana kwabantu kodwa ngela langa ukwenza kwala langa besikwazi usuka phasi sihambe sigqithe phakathi kwamapolisa siyotshona enkanini siyofuna amanzi siphinde sibuye sigqithe kulamapolisa amapolisa nabo abantu becamera bebengena phakathi kwethu besingabantu singena umuntu oqabana nabo kungekho umuntu oqabana nabo.
As I know it, Mr. Chair, violence, public violence involves confrontation, but on that day we would move in between the police officers, go into Nkane, get water. There was no confrontation, and media people would also move in between us without any confrontation.
Right. And then you've already indicated that you yourself were not carrying anything. Were you even carrying a stick?
I did not have anything in my hands.
No, I'm asking that because one of the charges remaining against you is about possession of firearms. Oh, I'm sorry, possession of dangerous weapons.
Ndiyayazi loo nto ndiyivile nami ngokulaa langa kodwa nxa unobukela kuzo zonke ezi disk zimane zidlala apha banintsi abantu bebephaa entabeni bebengaphethanga nto sonke abantu besiphaa bengekho inyango thina sonke besiphethe isixhobo ba.
I know about those charges, but if you can watch the videos depicting what happened there on that day, you will see not everybody had weapons there. There are many people who did not carry any weapons.
Yes. And then, again, speaking about yourself now, the last charge that you have been allegedly arrested on is the question of illegal gathering. Did you know or did you think that the gathering was legal or illegal?
Elinye ityala ojongene nalo lelokudibana ngokungekho mthethweni illegal gathering. Wena ukuba kwakho pha ubuyazi loo nto leyo uba indimbano le yenu pha ayikho mthethweni banidibane bekulandawo?
Bendingayazi ngoba mna bendibona uba amapolisa bekhona besihleli nje phaa entabeni kungabonakali into uba Mina ngicimba njengoba kunabantu bomthetho bekhona kusemthethweni uba singahlala pha ngoba akho nto beke bayithetha ukuthi uba afanelanga sihlale pha kulaa ndawo akukho umthethweni uba sihlale pha kulaa
No, I did not know that. The police were there. I was thinking that because the police are there, there is nothing wrong with us gathering there. They never told us that our meeting or being there was illegal.
Right. Then, Chairperson, if I can just check something. After you were released, before I deal with that, before you said there was a lot of shooting and there was shooting on the rocks and so on at scene 2. Did anyone say why you were being shot at or what you were supposed to do or what you were not supposed to do?
Scene 2. Majene pa kukho umuntu onixeleleyo uba kutheni idutyulo okanye why kudutyulo yintoni efanele niyenze intoni efanele ningayenzi.
Wabona ucacisa kancinci kule ndaba tata.
Just to explain that a bit.
Ndingumuntu ondithanda ujongelela izimovie kanjalo.
I like watching movies, things like that.
Ndike ndive kakhulu nxa abantu bebanjwe ngamapolisa endaweni amapolisa adla ngokuthi kubo baphume baphakamise idlandla
I would say when police are approaching people or trying to arrest them, they'll tell them to come out, put their weapons down, raise their hands. But on that day, I did not hear any such thing. The water cannon just sprayed water.
Amanye abapolisi abesesiva ibullets sidubula phezulu betha phezulu kwamathe sizifihla nozifihla zange kube nomuntu othetha nathi.
Would hear bullets, some hitting the rocks, police firing. No one spoke to us, and we hid in between the rocks.
And do you know what happened to the other people who went towards Skirlek?
We asked Baba Pelele Papa Ban Bebesianga says Skirlek.
Kwabantu babalekele kwelicala seskrelek nabayenga kule direction yase Stormage babe nenhlanhla ubuninzi babo iqela labo bakwazi ufika balekele emikhukhwini babe safe thina abamsicinga ukuthi
most of the people who ran towards Skirlek and those who ran in the direction of Stormage managed to get away. They went into the shacks. They were safe.
We who thought
were safe whilst hiding there were all arrested and others were shot.
Yes. Then finally I'm going to ask you about there's been evidence about some of, and I'm sure you're going to be asked by the representative of the police, because they've given us a list of the evidence that they're going to use in your cross-examination. But I just want you to deal with, there's been a lot of evidence, I want to put it neutrally, regarding two speeches that were made, that would have been made in your presence during Mr. Matunjwa's second visit. One is made by Mr. Noki, and the other one is made by somebody called Protester Number 6. And just because there's been a lot of heavy weather made about those particular statements, I just wanted to play them for you. Could we start with Triple J20?
Sake sithethe jonge ke lo exhibit malana into zathethwa ngoNoki no Qhanqalazi unumber 6 ngela xesha kho Mathunjwa pha ndiyathemba amapolisa abuzile ngalonto.
Let's start with number 21. while they're looking for that one, I might as well ask you about that. Did you notice the people who were using weapons, clicking their weapons on the day, the 16th?
Lo video mandibuza ngale nto babonile abantu bebetha ke izixhobo esinye kwesinye ngalo suku nge-16.
Yes,
sir, I saw them.
Can you tell us what you observed? When was that done, and for what reason?
Ngaxela kubone ntoni yenziwe nini loo nto yenzelwa ntoni loo nto.
Ixesha nexesha nxa kuculwayo abasebenzi abanye baqhwaba idlanze zabo abangaphethanga nto, nabanye noma baphethe izikhali bezibeka phansi baqhwaba idlanze, abanye bebethatha izikhali zabo baqhwabe ngezikhali zabo.
Every time when they were singing, people would clap their hands, those who did not have weapons. Those who had weapons would use the weapon, see the weapon, one against the other. Others would put their weapons down and clap hands.
Yes. Okay. Let me, because it looks like there's trouble getting the video, I'll ask you this question in the following way. We've seen before a person who was saying something like, these police, if they come here, we will finish them here, and then there was laughter from the crowd. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
What can you tell us about that?
The gentleman who was speaking there is somebody who likes to joke. If you look in that video, you'll notice that many people laughed after that. They know him as someone who likes to joke.
The other speakers, sorry,
did you know this person also? You say he likes to joke. Did you know him?
Now,
Do you know?
I saw him the first day. On the 15th, he did speak there that afternoon. And on the 16th was the second time I see him.
So how do you know that he likes to joke?
He spoke also on the 15th.
Do you know his name?
I learned late that he is Bele.
Name is?
I only heard later that his name is Bele.
I see.
Right. Now, the other similar, let me put it this way. The other is called number 6 because there were other people who spoke there. Do you remember that?
Number 6 Yes, I remember the people who spoke there.
And again, to save time, I won't play all the other 5 people, but can you maybe tell the Commission what was the gist of the message from the other workers, apart from that gentleman?
Message bendoni.
Is 30 is athetha emva ko uba kuthetha uTata Mathunjwa.
The people who spoke after Mr. Mathunjwa spoke.
Being abasebenzi abesuka abasebenzi being abasebenzi abasebenza nathi.
Were the workers, my colleagues.
Bathethile kakhulu bathi asizu uTata Mathunjwa makahambe ukuxela umqashi okanye namapolisa afuneka bayazi uba asizusuka pha enantsikeni entabeni umqashi ngakazi ukuthi.
They spoke a lot. They said Mr. Mathunjwa should go and tell the employer, or the police should know that we are not going to leave the copy before the employer comes to talk to us.
Ubuninzi babe repeata loo nto ukuthi asilwi asizangulwa ukusuka sihlile apha zanga silwe namapolisa asinandaba esinayo amapolisa xa sifuna nje umqashi.
Most of them were repeating that we are not fighting. Since we've been here on the copy, we do not have a problem with the police. We only want the employer to come to us.
No, Mr. Nogina uye wathetha wathi it's either thina siyahamba apha entabeni okanye amapolisa ahamba.
Mr. Noki also spoke, said it's either we leave the copy or the police leave the copy.
Xa bangahambiyo xa kungekho abanye abambayo kutsho ukuthi akuna iinkunzi ezimbini ezingadibelela laa ndawo sikuyo.
If no party leaves between us and the police, means no two bulls can be in one kraal or in one place.
Yes. Yes, that's the other statement I was going to play for you, about which also heavy weather has been made. In what context did you understand that statement about the two bulls?
Enye into bendisiya kuyo leyo, wena uyiqonde ukuba ithetha ntoni loo nto leyo yenkunzi ezimbini?
Ebecacisa uba xa bangasukiyo phaa entabeni basishiye phaa ngoba basifikele abasebenzi behlelele phaa bengalwi namntu behlelele phaa mabahambe bona bashiya phaa thina sizawulinda silinde umqashi odabuye okanye thina ke sihambe basheke phaa entabeni siyaye ulwela indawo enye.
What they were saying is the police found us there, we were waiting for the employer there, so they should leave us on the copy waiting for the employer, or else we should leave and leave the police there, leave the copy, leaving the police behind, because we cannot be we're fighting for one territory now.
Sit one. No.
That's the play after lunch.
No. Sorry, Chairperson.
Well, your time is up, but it's lunchtime in 5 minutes. I'll let you proceed until lunch.
Yes, Chairperson. I think I'd rather finish before lunch, Chairperson. Yes. Now, you've already indicated that there are people that you called investigators who took a statement from you while you were still in custody, in police custody, correct?
So thethileke ngabantu bebethatha statement uthi zingathi investigator ngela xesha nisavalelwa ndithi? That is correct.
Chairperson, I wanted to enter this as an exhibit. It's the handwritten statement that is in front of you, Chairperson.
Quadruple M3. I haven't put my machine on. Quadruple M3, eyewitness statement by witness, dated 19 August 2012.
Statement senze 19 August 2012 yesiya sibhalwe ngesandla.
Yes. Now, in that statement, I'm not going to go through it. In that statement, there are some of the incidents which you described to the commission, or even to the people who took the carte blanche, or in your statement to us, are not mentioned, and I'll highlight two of those, one being the...
Was the statement
the account of when you said that the police ran over a person, as well as the people who were shot at that you described to the commission earlier. Is there a reason why you did not mention those events?
No, what that?
Yes, I can.
Please do.
If you look carefully, I made the statement whilst I was locked up.
And
And I also explained earlier on in the commission, as I did, that we were being assaulted in prison. The police would come anytime, saying they came to search, would be told to put our hands on the wall, and we'd be assaulted.
senothi noba kuxesha nini ngoba abantu bebesibhalisa istatement bathi bona basuka emapoliseni.
There are, yes, certain things that I did not mention in the statement out of fear because the people who took the statement said they were from the police.
So bendingena confidence kubo ukuthi mhlombe basenothi njengoba baniqala yonke into bandithathe nami ndiyobethwa ecaleni ngento ezinzabe ndizithetha kubo into ndiyabanikanga zonke izinto.
So I did not have, confidence in these people, because if I mention these things, I'll be taken away separately and be assaulted because of mentioning those things in the statement. That is why I did not mention them.
Thank you. While you were in custody, were you allowed visitors, or did you know what had happened to the people who had been shot at the copy?
Xa uvalelwe ke pha ubuvunyelwa ba undwendwelwe ngabantu visitor okanye yazi baba kwenzeke into ngaba abantu abadutyulwa pha endulini baphelele.
Mna kwamna abantu abandihlala nabo bave ngabanye abantu bebethakele abanye ababanjwa kuba nabo bebeze kum baye bajikiswa pha bayala ukuthi bangene.
Mr. Chair, even the people who heard about my incarceration were heard from other visitors who had visited their people there, and the people who eventually tried to come and see me were stopped. They were not allowed in.
And lastly, did you know what had become of the people who that you had seen being shot at the mountain? And how did you feel about that?
Abantu mna ndizova mva ngase siphume etrongeni ukuthi abanye basweleka.
I only heard late after we had been released that some of those people died.
Abanye ke bebelele esibhedlela.
Others were lying in hospitals.
Ndandivisa kabuhlungu kakhulu lonto ngoba xa ndizocinga uba mhlawumbe ke ndingomnye wabantu badutyuleyo pha okanye ngendiqhelekile ngoba abanye bahamba ngenantsika ngekroko khona ngoku.
I felt very bad about that because I could have been easily one of the people who were shot there. Or I could have been crippled because some of those people are walking with crutches right now. One of them was staying very near my place at the big house. That person was also shot and he was now walking with crutches. He used to attend the commission whilst he was sitting in Rustenburg. He was stressed because he did not get any money, he had to go to the hospitals, he ended up paying himself. Now things like that make you feel very bad.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I have nothing further.
Thank you. We will now adjourn until 1:45, when I take it Mr. Shastus and the cross-examine on behalf of the evidence. Is that correct, Mr. Shastus?
It is, Chairperson.
We don't record.
So let's put me on lunch. It's 1:45.